Hello, Madam Ted, if you passed them on.
Were you fighting?
How you doing? Hey, Mom. How's it going? You doing okay?
I did see where the lady that left SIU women's program signed at Mizzou.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Rick's not here.
Okay. I was just asking them about this. I said it wasn't to make sure we were good.
Hey, I love it, Lou.
Really good at that too. And probably we didn't say anything, no one would notice. Yeah.
Gage got
Was that Bud Hall? Bud Hall's? Or was that Bud Hall? Yeah. I was just telling them.
That's right. Okay. It's definitely more aggressive. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's Southeast State. Yeah. State, Missouri State Department. And that is, yeah.
She's always been a great
And,
kid.
I got a brother in hospital up there.
She's still down there. Okay.
65 years old.
All right, it is 6 o'clock here on Tuesday. Part of this meeting of the Murphysboro City Council. Vanessa, we would all rise. We have with us this evening Pastor Fry. We'd like him to lead us in an invocation.
Thank you, Lord, that for each one that is here, each one around the room as they have varying duties and responsibilities, be with us in this meeting this night, that there be consensus, and that we as a community would continue to move forward. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Zucker, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Hughes. Alderman Curry-Witzman. Here. Alderman Runge. Alderman Austin.
Here.
Alderman Jackson.
Here.
Alderman Pittman.
Here.
Alderman Urbis.
Here.
Alderman McComb.
Here.
Alderman Strack.
Here.
Alderman Gladden.
Here.
Mayor Stevens.
Here. All right, well, on the agenda, at the top of the agenda, that I was just their way of reminding me.
And you do.
In case, Sandra put this on the agenda without my knowledge, not that that necessarily matters, but I do appreciate it. I'd be happy to come down and see what they have to say about my credibility. So. Just right here.
My name's Jay Wittenborn. I'm here representing Murphysboro Ducks Lodge number 572. And I'd like to say it's great to see so many old friends I haven't seen in quite a while. There's quite a cast of characters in here. I'd like to thank the mayor and the city council and all the other representatives of the city for allowing us to be here tonight. The last meeting we were going to present this, Mayor Stevens wasn't available that night. but I'll go ahead and read this citation. It'll be brief. Just for 2023-2024, the Elks Distinguished Citizenship Award is presented to Will Stevens for outstanding and meritorious service to humanity by Murphysboro, Illinois, Lodge number 572 and the Grand Lodge Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks. So on behalf of the nearly 700 men and women that are members of our Elks Lodge number 572, I'd like to present this to Mayor Stevens. Thank you.
CJ, we're
Come here for a second.
meeting adjourned.
You want all four of you in this?
Okay, yes.
Good job, bye, I love you.
Bye, guys. We can keep our meeting hopefully.
See you, Molly.
Anyway, well, I'm very thankful and appreciative of that recognition. With that, we'll go into the consideration of minutes from our last meeting, April the 23rd, which are included in your packet, and I'd entertain any questions or amendments to the minutes at this time. Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That'll take us into our committee and commission reports. Up first, we have Budget and Finance, chaired by W.J. Pittman.
Thank you, Mayor. We have no items under old business. Under new business, we have consideration of accounts payable, accounts receivable, and payroll register. Does anybody have any questions regarding the bills?
Ms. Hughes?
I actually don't have a question, the question answered, but I wonder if there's anything we can do to help Sandra and or Donna out. On page 3, City of Murphysboro, disbursement of Jackson County Board check. They continue to write their rent and their water bill all together. Then it just makes more accounting for us to redo it. Donna, it seems like every time I ask her what this is, and it's going to sink in eventually, but anyway, she's written on the bill to please do separate checks, which seems to me shouldn't be too terribly hard, but is there any way that we could ask them by letter to write 2 checks so that...
The school district is the same way with the auxiliary reimbursement.
Are they?
That happens, or
Well-
the SRO reimbursement. And it's not that big a deal, it just has to,
But it's another
we
step.
do ask them.
Yeah, it is another step. If we could, maybe just send a note
Well, if
besides on the bill.
if I could get, I don't know what would be the best thing to take over there, whether it be a copy of something, or I could just walk over to the county board office and just stop in and...
They get 2 bills, they just write 1 check.
Right, and so, and say, just for our accounting purposes, could you please break these out?
It's not
Mr.
like
Van Wert?
lightning is going to strike or anything, but in all fairness, it would be easier for them.
I think what's happening, I know in the case of the school district, whenever we have bills that come into the school district, they're put in by vendor, and then it will total up whatever bills were submitted for that. It will automatically issue one
It'll put
check.
1 check.
So I would guess that's probably what's happening at the county. They're entering it as 2 separate bills, and the computer system is automatically saying, well, that's going to the same vendor, so it's going to total that together in 1 check.
That could very
Could
well
they
be.
list the water department as one,
That-
that city is another? The county software does have the ability to override that.
Okay.
I know that, so. But they have to be entitled to do that, I guess.
Well, it's all about getting to the actual, Sandra or Donna at the county, because I can go talk to CJ, with all due respect to Chairman Calandro, and, it'd be better for me to go directly to whoever the person that presses that button is. Sandra, if you'll leave me a reminder for me to stop by the county board office, I'll just go over there and see if I can talk to them directly about it.
Like I said, it's not life-threatening or anything, but.
No, I realize that, but-
Easier for them.
Yeah, that'd make it easier.
All right, any more questions on the bills?
Move approval.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried. Next item is financial statements prepared by Scott Evans, Budget Officer. Scott?
Thank you, Alderman Sidman. So what I had tonight, of course, is our usual sales tax report first. We exceeded last year's allotment by about $15,000, so that trend continues. Every month this year has been an increase over last year, so that's a very nice development. We're almost to the point where we can project what it's going to look like by the end of the year, I'd say, with a little bit of certainty. And yeah, we should exceed last year's number. Obviously, in the first 5 months, unless something drops off the table, then we should exceed last year's number. So that continues to be a good thing. If you go to the second page, which is going to be on the right side of your statement point, we have the schedule of operating expenses and revenues by department versus budget. You've seen this many times before. And so for the first 4 months in general fund, we have spent $1,805,000. We budgeted $2,336,000, and so we're $531,000 under at this point. And again, a lot of these things, a big thing that hasn't happened yet is the remainder of the ARPA money, which we roll over to this year. Things of that nature haven't happened, so, but it looks pretty good through 4 months. The revenues have exceeded our budget too. Although not by a lot, it looks like we're $361,000 over, which we are technically, but a big component of that is the grant that we got for the police department, $307,000. That's kind of artificially bumping that number up right now, but even if you take that out of the mix, we're still over $50,000 over what we anticipate bringing in through the 4 months. So, well, for the first 4 months, basically the first third of the year, the numbers look pretty good. So, component of that is the salaries, obviously, so that's the next report. And again, we were looking at just general fund. Now, when we do this salary report, I always put in all salaries because there's some big dollars coming in from other departments like water and sewer that impact the overall budget, so I feel like we will just cross all salaries. So, citywide, we spent $296,000 and change on salaries in April. That's the last page of that report. Budget 3.2, so we were 45 under, and for the first 4 months, we were 228,000 under. For a couple reasons, obviously the pre-payroll month hasn't happened. That was probably
It'll happen this month.
We'll eat some of that up in that process. And I think we still have experiencing some shortfalls in the staffing at the police department, and Chief has brought that up before, obviously. So those components give us a $228,000 cushion going into the upcoming month. So any questions on those reports? Okay, last page. If you recall, periodically I report the comings and goings of the tourism fund. And so here's the fund activity for the first 4 months. So they brought in $30,027 of revenue between the hotel tax and the B&B tax and the interest income. And we budgeted about 35. And I think a little bit of that is the fact that I think the payment from the county for the next allotment may have been late. Probably normally gets around April, but it carried over to May. So that's a little bit, if that had come in at its usual time, I think the revenues would be roughly even with budget. But, as you can see, through 4 months, they have spent $68,744, and which is over half of their budget for the whole year. But if you spread it out for those 4 months, it would be, they should be spending, if all dollars were spent evenly, $37,000 is where the budget plays out there. So they're significantly over budget in their spending. And again, I don't know if it's a case of where they are front loading that to some degree. Some things maybe come up early in the year, and maybe it's going to drop off. I don't know. But as a result, that $38,000 deficit you see right there took their fund balance at the end of the year, which is essentially, the cash and CDs that they have. It was 105. That 38,000 brings them down to 66,490 in just 4 months. So I mean, that's a pretty good spending spree.
I think it's important. I think it's important to remember that there is, become common knowledge amongst the various funding groups that tourism has money now. And I think everybody tries to get there as soon in the year as they can to make sure that, their request gets funded while there's plenty of, money. And there's plenty of these things that are reoccurring, whether it's cruise night, Apple Festival, et cetera, that, basically they know they're going to get funded, and I'm sure that tourism wants to fund them. So Sandra, I know you're working with them now, but
They're doing a lot of social media. That's where a lot of their dollars are going. A lot of the events the typical events, there haven't been too many new things there. Just a lot of social media push.
sure.
Well, and obviously they had reserves to burn, and I guess my point would be, and I don't know, I can't say that at year end they're going to be over budget, because maybe it's going to slow down, maybe they have this under control, but if it doesn't, it's going to be way over budget. And my point would be, well, we told you that if you think you're going to spend it, go in the budget. Even if that means you're going to spend a deficit, go in the budget. So at this point, they're definitely not spending that, but there still would be time to correct the vote if they, slow down drastically between now and the end of the year. I mean, maybe they do end up in budget. It's just that this is really a fast start. That's all I'm thinking.
Do you think that should be addressed at their meeting?
I mean, perhaps. I also feel like the tourism fund is the one fund that I don't want them running giant surpluses. Right. Because,
No, I agree with
if
that.
they're just
Yeah.
holding money in the
Yeah.
bank, then we're
I do
not,
agree with that.
spreading the gospel of Murphysboro, so to speak. So I think it's wise to let them know that we're
And
reviewing
maybe
this.
they realize they are, and they know it's going to slow down, and we just don't know that for sure.
Well, and I hate to just load everything on Sandra in a sense, but you're already at the meetings.
Right, yeah.
So-
And I think the budgeting for this year, or the next year will be better. Lisa kind of came in, I think she'll have better information this year as well.
Mhm.
So I think the budgeting part of it will be important.
Well, if you would mention at the next meeting that the council, reviewed this and we, noticed that they were spending at a burn rate that would take them beyond their budget if they kept up at this rate, then they need to be cognizant of that. So, okay.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
All right. Does anybody have any more questions for Scott? Okay, thank you, Scott. Next item is consideration of TIP application at 1310 Walnut Street. And I'll have this one, but I'm assuming we have to do all these separate. This one is for Miranda's Lou. And is this similar to what we've done last several, just switching these to our new TIP district?
Correct.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about this application?
Do they get the 8,000?
This would be the 8,000 instead of the percent.
Move approval.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is consideration of TIP application at 1330 Walnut Street. This building owned by green. It's got the White House Salon and Yoga on the Block inside. This is the same thing, but are they getting the full 8,000 also? Yes.
Did provide some photos that are pretty expressive of the situation before they took over.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, that is bad.
Entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then the next item is consideration of TIF application at 1517 Walnut Street. And this is for,
Whole house,
the whole,
the new owner there.
okay.
So the first two were retro projects.
This one is an upcoming project.
Okay.
And so they won't get payment until the project
Is complete.
The same way with the demolition for cities.
Okay.
But we can approve,
Yeah.
I move that we do that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any public comment under budget and finance? Move out of budget and finance.
Thank you very much, WJ. That takes us to Building and Grounds, chaired by Mr. Mike Austin. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. Under old business, we have nothing, but I want to ask Scott and Richard and you, Mayor, regarding the solar project that we've had a presentation for the last couple times. Are you receiving the same, or are you receiving the emails from me that I'm getting from them?
I'm receiving everything you're forwarding to me. I don't know
Okay,
if I'm
I
supposed
just
to.
want to make sure that you all have been getting all that information.
Yes.
Yeah. Under new business, we have consideration of bids for replacement of heating and cooling unit at the Dome Building, and you have that in your packet. It is a bid for $7,122.71. Is there any questions from the council?
My only question is to clarify, is this unit going to replace both those units that are there?
No, this is the same kind of bid that they did for the shooting range where they have the name brand and then the generic brand, I guess. It is just one unit that services the water side
Okay.
of the dump.
But are both units that are there of the same age, correct? I mean, they look like it to be when I come and go. I don't know if anybody remembers. but
They're different brands,
Are they?
which would make me think
Done at different.
Different
I
times,
think
okay.
the inside units are the same units. The outside units, one of them died a few years ago, and Boss put a used unit to get back functioning again, if I remember correctly.
Okay, well, I have no problem moving forward with this. I just wondered if we had out at the same time, you know, give it up the ghost, but, yeah.
Make a motion to approve it.
We have a motion, we have a second? Second. Motion is second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
But which,
That's 71.
712271. 712271. We have approved. Is there any other questions from the council regarding this? Is there any public comment? If not, Mayor, we can move out of Building and Grounds.
thank you so much. That takes us to Community Relations, chaired by Ms. Curry-Witzman. Chance?
Thank you, Mayor. Under old business, we have the update on the Big Muddy Monster sign.
I meant to pass this out before the meeting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And, pass those down. I was going to, obviously, bring this to the last meeting. I wasn't here. There was some feedback at the last meeting to have Christine DeShazo, who's been working on this, sort of reroute the arrows so that it would be pointing toward the statue itself, as it's going to be on the east side of the monster statue, and then sort of increase the size of the Big Muddy Monster text, which was done by about 20% or so from the previous one. And so these were sort of the amendments that she made, and I wanted to bring them back to the council. I can't remember if the last one said Murphysboro, Illinois across the bottom or not, but felt like it was, important for those pictures that are going to be taken from people outside the area that baked into the image. So I think, it's very similar in coloration and whatnot to the old Route 66 signs. I think that it's going to, really jump out at people as they go around that corner, and so to the point.
It's fine, I mean.
All right, well,
I have a question.
sure.
Presently, what's on the right side of this picture, okay, is that going to be placed on the other side so that the arrow points? See, right now, the arrow's pointing to vacant land.
No, it'll point to the actual statue.
Yeah, this sign will be on the west side.
Okay.
I think I said east a moment ago, but I should have
All
said
right.
west side
All right.
of the statue.
I was gonna say, I thought they was building something on the west side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
said
on the
east,
west
and okay, so, anyway, that's the update, and he's ready to proceed if, there's no other, analysis of, this is obviously not right or whatever.
What's this gonna cost, Will?
Well, I don't know exactly. I think we're looking at maybe $3,000 or $4,000, of which I believe tourism, can serve for at least half of that. And Mr. Capias has given us a couple $1,000s toward it also.
Yeah, who's framing the sign?
The street department did the building of framing up the sign and everything, and I think all that material was around $600 or something.
Somewhere between 600 and 800.
Yeah. So.
I wonder why it was crooked.
We sold it.
Yeah. Blind man will be happy to see it.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? I'll hand it back to you, Jance.
Thank you, Mayor. For new business, we have consideration of street closure request for MHS Class of 2004 reunion, Chestnut Street from 11th to 12th on Saturday, September 21st, 2024, and we have that request that has been signed off and approved in, this one was, I guess, in our packet, and so.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? And then the second consideration we have is for street closure for request for Big Muddy Monster Festival, Chestnut Street from 11th to 12th on Saturday, June 22nd, 2024. And we also have that form in our packet as well.
I move to approve that.
Second.
Nays? Have any public comment? Okay. Guess we can move out of the meeting.
Thank you. That takes us to Public Improvement Chairman, Mr. Don Glad. Don?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Under old business, looking for an update regarding the condition of properties at the 900 block of Locust Street.
Well, I was going to look to Charlie to see on the agenda because the adjacent property owner continues to contact me on a regular basis and express her concerns about how they're impacting her building, their cuts of class. Charlie, I'm not sure what was updated at the last meeting, if anything, but.
After the last meeting, Mitch called me the next day, who owns the building there in the corner. I don't know the numbers of all the buildings there, but he told me that the other two buildings were in the family, and he was trying to basically get those. He said he finally has them now. He's going to pay the back taxes. And planned on this summer to install all the windows in the buildings. And that's where I left it with him.
All right, well, I would say that I don't believe that. And so we should, trust but verify, because, Mitch has told me a lot of things that have not been true, and I don't mind saying that in this meeting. I'd say it if he was here. So I hope that, he does what he says he's gonna do, because, those buildings, I think, are having a negative impact on the surrounding buildings.
Did he say anything about the roof? Do anything to the roof?
I don't have any proof that there's any roof issues. We flew the drone over it, and I don't see any leaks, any issue with the roof. There was mainly the windows that there was birds flying in and out of that she was having issues with. So,
And there are some bricks on the higher front of the old Connections building that are obviously bowing out, and it's where was a tree growing out. There should be a gutter on, and there is not, and so the water just builds up pressure on the front of there, and then. All right. Well, I don't know if there's a need for me on the agenda moving forward if he's purchased the back taxes.
yeah, I want to keep an eye on him and make sure he, follows through with his work.
Yeah.
He said this summer, so.
So have we verified our tax on it?
No,
Or he's going to pay it.
As of last week, he told me he finally had just got them, and he's going to pay the taxes that are owed on both of those buildings. That would be around August, so.
Yeah.
Mike?
Charlie, if the taxes are paid and the new windows are put in, is that building still safe?
I haven't been in the building. I would say the front of that building needs to be, that tree is still somewhat poking through on that front side, so, that was the question that I'd have for Mitch to see if we could go inside, see what's actually need to be done with all three of those.
Would he allow you in there?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Well, I think it'd be good for us to take a look. I don't want to be overburdensome on, because I know there's a lot of buildings that have a lot of problems or whatever, but whenever a resident, comes to you and they're trying to run a legitimate business and the adjacent property owners are not being responsible, then some sort of action. So, all right, we'll keep this up.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yep. Thank you, Charlie. There's no new business. Is there any public comment on public improvement? Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Don. That takes us to Public Works, chaired by Mr. Gary McComb. Gary?
Thank you, Mayor. 207 North 22nd, till the contractor can give the done and give us a price. We're waiting on the contractor. I don't think there's any sense discussing it. And Charlie and them, we're going to have a new ordinance for that, and they're going to get together and get that done. So when they get it done, they can tell Sandra she can put it back on the agenda.
Okay.
Because there's no sense us discussing it every 2 weeks, and then we don't know anything yet. And then on the they're going to have some equipment to fix that. What we got now, the grader won't work. And that's why when we get to new business, we'll talk about, about the skip. It's got the equipment where it's got the blade with it and the buckets with it, where they can grade that out and do the work on it. Not only, but that's what we're waiting on, the decision from everybody about the skidster.
So is the question about North 7th Street just like whether or not we want to do something there? Or
It is scheduled for oil and chipping, but I know Darren's been holding off because we didn't have a firm date on the oil and chipping, but now we're looking at starting Monday, so he's gonna get in there and dress that up a little bit and fill the holes, and then we'll oil and chip it.
Yeah.
That will help some of that.
It has it has to be smoothed out and everything filled in right before they'll chip it. Otherwise, if you got a hole in it, you get down.
Week and a half.
But and we're kind of waiting on that to see what we're going to do with it. I know a lot of places in town, this, but you can't fix. I know. Still got a hole. So we got to wait a while before we can fix some of these places.
We are trying to work on that. I wanted to hold off until Harold gave me a firm date on the oil and chip where we decided what we were doing with equipment. We started this afternoon just patching the holes on the side of it and hope for the best to do the oil and chip. That's where we stand right now.
And if it's bothering somebody that's out there that bad, they don't have to go very far the other direction. No, you know, to make that street. You can go up north and make that bad part of that road. I don't know whether Darren can try to fix it as he goes. And the next thing on the purchase of a skid steer Bobcat. Well, I've been to the Bobcat dealer twice over the other side of Carterville. And Darren kind of favors a skid steer because that's everything we got with the city is here. When a guy comes up, he brings all the parts. We don't have to make but one trip to service all of our stuff. On there, and there's not probably a couple of $1,000 difference between the two machines. And it comes with a road grader blade, raffle bucket, and we'll be we don't have to worry about spending $50, $60 on a tire on the, flat tire on the backhoes. And Scott don't want $100,000 CD, but if we cash in $100,000 CD to buy this, the CDs, we're going to pay more than we're getting out of the CD.
No, not right now, I don't think, are we, WJ?
It'd probably be close to about a wash, pretty close.
Huh?
It'd probably be close to about a wash. I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
either, but they're pretty similar right now for what rate is to what CD rates are for the, but, I mean, not a 5-year CD. I mean,
Well, you probably, if you finance something like this, now on the small, Darren,
That was on the excavator.
yeah, but on this, they don't have it. And I don't remember how many years that was for.
most equipment, it's 5 usually.
Well, at the, risk of saying something stupid, would it make sense to just finance something like this through the end of the year and then budget for it next year and then just pay it off so we don't bang up our budget between now and the end of the year? I mean, is there such a program as,
Yeah, it just, these yards they clean up, and everything, it comes with rubber tracks. So if they're working someplace and they got to go a block or two away, they can drive it up the street and you don't hurt the street. It don't have the steel tracks.
right?
But we hate to keep, they're a handy piece of equipment for cleanup, and even down at the cleanup days, and when a tree falls like we had on Walnut up there, they can pick up more with it and get it higher in the air than they can with a backhoe to put it in the back of a truck. It'll reach higher up. and you can get almost straight.
I'll make a motion to buy it. And I like the idea of financing it now and then look at budgeting for it.
I was second.
I'd like to know Scott's idea on that.
Well, I guess it all depends on what the rate ends up being. You know, we could certainly choose to pay any bank loan off without penalty at the beginning of the year or whatever. If we get a rate that would be comparable or maybe a little bit lower than the CD, then maybe there wouldn't be an incentive to pay it off. We just keep paying the payments.
I mean, what is our line of credit is 5%, isn't it? Like our quote-unquote emergency.
I'm not sure if it still is.
Is there a 0% rate going hot right now that we can get on that?
At the end of the rate. If we're just trying to get through budget, we could put it on an interest-only payment through the end, pay the interest on it every month and then pay it off, you know, put it on a payment. Interest rate's gonna be a little bit higher like that, but then you're not spending that much out of your budget. Interest on it. We can do a flat payment, you know, after the beginning of the year. I mean, you got several different options, just depends on
Well, what's the
how
cheapest
you want
thing to do between now and January the 1st?
Well, rate-wise, your best bet is just gonna be to put it on a 60-month or a 60-month amortization and make the you know, and make that payment whatever it off when whatever's left at the end of the year, whatever's left at the end of the year, because the balloon loan is gonna have a little bit higher rate, and a interest-only loan is gonna have a little bit higher of a rate. If our plan, I don't see why, if that's what we're doing, there's really no point in paying origination fees and paying, you know, we've got existing that haven't been used, you know, the rate's probably, with real estate being collateral on that line of credit, rate's probably lower on that than we're gonna get on an equipment loan anyway, and then we pay.
Yeah, I don't think we have to make those decisions right now. I mean, the decision to get it, acquire it,
And get the quotes and do all,
get the
you know.
quotes, make your payments. I mean, we haven't in the past paid off loans early because it just didn't make sense. And that was kind of on a case-by-case basis.
Right.
And I say we approach this the same way. See what rate we get, see if it makes sense in light of these. Whether we pay it off in January or not, we would still have it now.
Right.
So it wouldn't affect that operation of it at all. It's just, you know, internally how we would handle the bookkeeping, the accounting, and the financial decisions on the back end of it, so.
I mean, and if, Darren, if you can give me the information on the equipment, or Sandra, if you can get it to me from him, I can get the interest rate in a matter of minutes, and we can have, you know, like, calculate what the payment would be throughout that and everything.
Darren has got all the information on the piece of equipment, you know.
But what is that total, Darren, for the
It was
skid steer?
105,000 and
Can we use it in the parades?
145,000 total was.
I want to fill that bucket full of candy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
Right. Is there a second?
I'll make that motion.
nays? Ayes have it.
So,
I thank you for doing this, because it's going to faster. We're going to save time even on the guys being out there trying to move that big backhoe around and stuff, and we don't have to worry about flat. Pretty good shape on that. What? Square. Read. Because it's square. and the guy. But well, son,
He did.
it's- it's- and once again, if they,
We already have laws in effect to deal with it. If a person goes in, the owner takes action immediately and treats them as a trespasser, and the law deals with it. When a owner doesn't do anything, they let people stay somewhere, or some people will let somebody come in as a roommate, then they want the roommate out. They're gonna call the police saying, get rid of this person. The police are gonna tell them, no, I cannot, unless you come up with a court order. And then that owner has to take action. Give them a notice, proper notice, and evict them. The city cannot enact any kind of ordinance to circumvent that process.
well, you know,
If a person comes onto your property, or if you have a house that is vacant, and that person comes in, the owner should be maintaining an oversight of their property, know that person is there, tell them to leave. They don't leave, then they can be removed as a trespasser. They take no action, they let them sit there, set up residence, then that owner has to go through the proper eviction process to get rid of them.
we got that in our ordinance?
It's
Or is
not
that the
ordinance,
law?
it's state
We
law.
have trespassing provisions in our ordinance.
No, you do.
The state statutes for trespassing.
I know. Because when the squatter got in here, the guy quit paying taxes, somebody bought the taxes, and we've already been over there and probably spent $500 on a dumpster to get it, to clean it up. You know, because I had a dumpster delivered, and down there's got it cleaned up now, I called them to come and get it. But them dumpsters, I don't know how much weight they got in it, we get 5 ton on one of the dumpsters we use. If you use a landfill, you get 3 ton. There's a difference of 4,000 pounds there we get with the guy we're using over what we were getting from the landfill. I mean, if the guys treated us good on them. I called him one day, had it out there for us. And, but that, if we had the time to get in. What's the
Is that the owner has to say this person is trespassing? Is there one?
There's not something set, it just would depend on the individual circumstances of how the person went into occupancy, how long they've been there, what they've done to establish it as their residence.
I mean, if they've put utilities in their name or done anything like that, I mean, you're starting to...
Got utilities turned on, or
Go ahead, Chief.
This particular residence, there was a verbal agreement between the people you're calling and the owner initially. They did pay some rent and a verbal contract for deed for a short period of time, and then they defaulted, but they remained in. So that becomes the point where they would have to be evicted.
I talked
Mouth was doing this, then it will probably look at the truth.
but what's good? Yeah.
To evict, 5-day thing, and then there's another form that's
different
filled out.
notices. Person
that-
has no right to occupancy, you can do the demand for immediate possession.
And,
The 5-day demand is when
but then
somebody's
there's a
behind
fine.
the rent.
Okay,
So there's different notices for different purposes.
yeah, okay, I knew there was something with 5 days and then something with 30 or 60 or past that. But I didn't know what the statute or the mandate was on,
It would all
The
depend on the
5-day.
circumstances.
okay.
How the person got to be in occupancy.
But all these people coming. Homestead, you know, but that's what they don't do something with the border. explaining that to us. And is there any more, about anything on that part of it? Is there any public comment on Public Works? Hearing none, we can come out of there, thank you.
Thank you, Gary. That takes us to Public Safety, chaired by John Earls. John?
Thank you, Mayor. We have no old business, have one item of new business, consideration of support for new animal control shelter. So I think the mayor and I were approached primarily by County Board President floating the idea that Murphysboro County and Carbondale would purchase and operate an animal control shelter rather than pay the Humane Society a monthly fee. So right now, we're paying $3,500 a month. I mean, it goes up, I don't know how it goes up, but it goes up regularly.
It goes up every April, I think, or May, doesn't it?
Their fiscal year is July.
It was, I thought this month was more than last month, though.
Yeah, it seems like
That's why I
it's-
thought it
yeah.
went up in April.
There doesn't seem to be any real, anyway. And I know it's gone up.
As part of that, have animals we take there too now?
No, it's a set fee, and it goes up a percent every year, or whenever their fiscal is, I guess.
Yeah, I think when I started on the council, it was like $2,200 a month. And, yeah. So I mean, that's about $42,000 a year. I asked CJ today, and he didn't really have any more figures. Will believes that they may have actually purchased a house or building. The building they were wanting to purchase was across from Murdale Water.
They're on Old 13.
Old 13,
Oh, yeah.
kind of up on the hill.
What's that?
Esther's.
I was gonna say, didn't that used to be Esther's surrounding
Condominium.
somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to me, figure out what it might cost. Now, I've been told by my vet that you're gonna have to have a vet at least on call, and it seems to me that there's a lot of money there, a lot of cost there.
Well, I think the other thing that factors into all this is that there's been, I don't think that there's current problems, but there's been reoccurring problems at the Jackson County Humane Shelter with us trying to take animals there, and, just a lot of static being given to Mark Tincher about, well, you can't bring this animal here, you need to take this thing to a vet, and we had to work to get that straightened out. There's been a lot of turnover there, and so our current situation seems to sort of be in disarray, Chief, is that?
Yes, yeah, we have trouble. They don't want to take our pipe dogs, so if you notice, you're starting to see some bills from Solid Rock where we're having to take dogs and get them cleared before, because they're telling us that. There's really no future stability in the place. They raised Carbondale's from 70,000 up above 100,000. Carbondale is completely all in, wanting the county to pursue this to see how it works out. We are, on our end, we're also in favor of letting it be pursued to see how it's going to shake out, just due to the fact that if you look at the building out there that they're operating in, they could call any day and say, hey, we're not taking any more dogs at all, because this place is kind of a mess, and that's kind of one of our worries, and then we're going to be stuck. We don't have anywhere else to go to. Carbondale quit paying them probably 4 or 5 months ago, and they made an arrangement with another animal agency where they're running theirs through, but they don't have room for us to get on board with anything like that with them, I don't believe.
It has to, there's kill shelters and non-kill shelters too. Now, Jackson County does euthanize, correct?
Yeah, what we're currently using?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And, well.
And county's got the whole program kind of put together. When they met with us, they laid it out that, they know they're gonna have to have employees on board for the building that they're gonna buy. It was the last understanding I had. They're buying the building, so there wouldn't be cost for us with that, except for maybe some upfront stuff to get it squared away, to help them a little bit. But I would think, Mayor, when we had our meeting with them, they kind of assured us it wouldn't be any more than what we're paying now, if I remember correctly.
That's what they indicated.
And thought maybe
So we just
less.
pay so much a month and not have to
Yeah,
deal
they're-
with the upkeep and all of that of the building?
Right, and they would take on the employees that they would have to hire and run that whole show on that.
Okay,
end.
that wouldn't be a city thing.
right? It would come out of our, payment, whatever we pay along with Carbondale. They were pretty big on trying to move forward to do something because it is a huge, huge problem right now, and it has been for about the last year and a half. And we just are kind of waiting to see about what they're going to do with our yearly amount also, because I think our people have kind of got along a little bit better out there. It's why we haven't had a big increase yet, but we've been waiting for it to drop anytime.
Well, and so what they're requesting is a of support. And so that really doesn't legally bind us to, indicates that we are
Interested.
not opposed.
The motion that Carbondale made was approve a proposal to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with Jackson County and Center for purchase, remodel, and operate a facility.
Okay.
So counties wanting to see a similar motion from us.
But that's just to
Like
agree to
a
purchase and
resolution to
run.
consider
That doesn't sound like
entering
what we're
into
interested in.
interagency agreement.
And the resolution is, well, that Carbondale passed, I'm sorry, Sandra, to make you read that again, but
To approve a proposal to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with Jackson County and the city of Murphysboro to purchase, remodel, and operate an animal control facility.
It sounds to me that they're asking us to go in on the purchasing and such.
Operating.
Operating.
That was my understanding, but
And they made it clear at the meeting with us, Mayor, that, right, Sandra, they would be purchasing the building.
Yeah.
Completely their ownership, their employees working inside of it. All that was pretty much laid out to us.
There's not been an intergovernmental agreement set forth with all the details, but my understanding was they would front all the costs and we would just pay the monthly fee, same as we do the
yes,
community.
that was definitely the way that it was presented when we met with them.
And I'm
That was
okay
a
with
monthly
that.
fee
I'm with
when
the
they-
terminology of
They
that
didn't say
proposal.
what they did not say what the fee, but they said similar to what we were paying now.
Do they have to be manned 24 hours a day? Going?
No, you just, what it is when you go into this dog business, you're taking a lot on because you're 7 days a lot.
Yeah.
Because you gotta have people there at nighttime cleaning and feeding, like you mentioned, you're Monday through Friday. And Saturday, there's time in there feeding and cleaning Sunday, so, and I made that clear to them because we were in the dog business where I come from, and it was a lot. Like you just said, it is a lot to take on, even for their entity, but it's so bad for them in Carbondale, and it's not been real good for us either, and that could end any day with the way they're operating out there at the other place. So, it's something we need to just get the verbiage figured out on and try to move forward with looking into it, because that's kind of how it was presented to us about going into an agreement to, look at doing it, not completely what that says.
Well, would we want to approve a motion then to essentially draft a letter that we are, interested in considering to an intergovernmental agreement based upon the terms that were outlined in our previous meeting, and sort of like lay out what those terms were, like, we would pay a monthly flat fee, and that what we are willing to be in favor of.
I would like that better than what the terminology is, that intergovernment agreement is. I know that it's just, probably it is just saying that we are in agreement that, we can do this, but it really specifically says purchase,
Sure.
What say you, Richard?
I agree with the mayor's suggestion.
Okay.
What Sandra read, obviously appears to be a different wording than what
Yeah.
was discussed.
I move that we present a response to the county based on the mayor's proposal.
All right, is there a second?
Go ahead, it's fine.
All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no? All right, that passes. Thank you. Any public comment on public safety? No, Mayor.
Thank you so much. All right, that takes us to personnel, chaired by Ms. Barbara Hughes. Barb?
Thank you, Mayor. There's no old business. Under new business, we have consideration of some water maintenance department. Tim has proposed, has spoken, and myself, and I believe Sandra, about perhaps hiring some part-time summer help to help paint fire hydrants, basically. We have, what?
Primary job.
Yeah, we have like, 6,000 or some, 600 approximately.
Inside city limits is about 400.
Okay, and I have mixed emotions about it, but I know that it needs to be done, and I also know that it takes his crew away from their immediate problems with water maintenance to stop and paint these. We talked about paying a minimum wage, but I did find out, Tim, and I don't know if you know this or not, that if you do hire someone under the age of 18, you can pay them $12 an hour versus 14. And I can't imagine that a teenage person wouldn't work a few hours a week for $12 an hour. Maybe they won't anymore, I don't know. I would have loved to make that when I worked at the Dairy Queen, but that was 100 years ago. And that's only a slight exaggeration. But anyway, I am more, personally, I'm more in favor, he would like to hire 4 and have, so that you could have two and two doing it. I am actually personally more in favor of hiring 2. If we do the math, Sandra, do you have those numbers with you? If we do the math, if we hire 4 at $12 an hour.
At 20 hours a week,
Yeah,
that's for 8 weeks, that's $7,680.
yeah, so we're coming close to $8,000 there. If we hire 2 at the $12 an hour, it would be half of that, so what, $3,500 or $4,000 or something like that?
3840.
Yeah, around 4, yeah. Anyway, I'd like to have some input from all of you about whether we go with this, how much.
The way I understood it was it was 4 people would have been, the same amount of hours regardless if it's 4 people or 2 people. That's what the
No, not
proposal was.
necessarily. We would only work the 2 people, well, we probably would work the week versus 20 hours a week versus 80 hours. It would be 20 hours less.
We do need to keep them under 30 hours, or else we have to.
We have to pay, full-time benefits if you.
That's why I suggested 4 at 20 hours apiece, because they have sports to do.
Yeah, but that's also $8,000.
Electing the hours of 9 to 2. And 2 would work from Monday to Thursday, and the other 2 would work from Tuesday to Friday.
Do we have money in the budget to pay for it, Tim?
It would be, depending on how we'll come out at the end of the year with overtime.
It is not budgeted at this point.
Well, something you got,
We discussed during budget time.
Please bring that, I know, that's what I said, I know that you're interested. The other thing is, are we gonna give, that I would be somewhat concerned, are we giving them a city truck to go do this? Because I hate to see 2 young people out doing this without a vehicle to get to the next one or whatever.
I think
So
we
don't-
passed a deal where they had to be at least 18, wasn't it, Darren, to drive a city truck?
I think.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think we did, but no. One of them. You don't want them lollygagging around the edge of that street and get run over.
And the other consideration is, and Mike brought this to my attention, and I do remember this, not too terribly long ago, his church did a volunteer afternoon and did, what, about 100?
I don't know how many they did, how many did do, chief?
About 50 or 55.
Oh, 50,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and then,
I don't
City
know
Hope
if-
Church did the same thing.
Yeah.
Did we
I
used to get some
understand that
community service
I
people
really
to
truly
help?
understand that he needs help with this, and I'm not putting that down whatsoever. I just am always leery of doing things that aren't budgeted.
Well, I think that having the fire hydrants look good, just
I think it's
improves the look of the neighborhood, but there
Oh, I
doesn't
agree.
seem to be any consensus up here as to, before I came into the meeting, I had suggested and talked to Barb that maybe we just hire two, and that way you can, hire the two most responsible 16, 17-year-olds you possibly can, because there's a wide spectrum of responsibility at the age of 16.
Yeah,
or
yeah, there
17.
is. Sometimes 16 going on 30 and sometimes 16 going on 4.
Right. So,
Well, maybe we should hire an 18-year-old and a 16, so that they can have a little bit maybe more.
And see, that's the thing, when we hired, years ago, when we would hire, several years ago, part-time workers for Darren, for example, that would do mowing, we had one of our full-time workers with them most of the time. This would be out there all on their own. That is a little scary to me, but I don't know, it just might be a mother thing.
Well,
You're retired, Bob, you can ask for them.
Pardon?
If that would
I could. Go ahead, Tim, please.
I wouldn't want to put one of my guys with a couple people all day long.
No, I wouldn't want you to,
Waste
that's,
the money on our end.
yes.
But if the consensus is that maybe we'll put more thought into this for next year, that's fine. Do the best we can with what we have now. I was hoping to get, I had mapped it out, and hoping to average, where they can do, each group could do 10 a day, because it's still only working 4 hours. We could be getting done 4 hours in 6 weeks.
Let me ask you this, could we do something where we reach out to several organizations?
That's what I was wondering, if we could.
See
have
who
some
can
kind of
paint the most
campaign.
fire hydrants, and whoever paints the most, we'll throw some sort, pizza party or something like that, or whatever. They're gonna make a donation to like a church group or a youth organization, or like, I don't know if that, I'm just.
Tell him this.
We may be able to just get people involved.
We used to also have community service people that painted fire
Yes,
hydrants
that's
too.
true.
I don't know.
That is true.
Well, why don't we table this question and then see if we can't reach out to some organizations? It sounds like we've done that in the past to some effect. And if there's, a willingness on behalf of any of the churches or whomever to help us, then, I think that would be a nice thing to see happen. If we sort of come up empty there, then maybe we come back and consider hiring a couple people.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to 2 people,
And I'm
like,
not either,
or whatever.
really.
It definitely needs done,
Yes, I agree with that.
to some extent.
There's things in the office, just enough to work on it can be done. There's walls out there that can be painted. Building can be pressure washed. There's a lot of work that can still be done. It doesn't have to be done. You can drop them all on the block and then walk the block.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever the council says.
All right, well, I think we have a plan to back up and sort of take a second look at this, and we'll keep it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Thank you. There's no other new business at this point. Public comment on personnel, personnel comment on personnel. Hearing none, I think we can get out of that, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. Mayor's report. The Bridgewood basketball court project is complete. I was very happy about that. I thought I would mention that the assistant to the chancellor, Matt Ballman, was really helpful in getting this started. And then after completed, they followed up with me and they said, "Are you happy with the way all of that looks?" And I said, "Well, I'm not totally unhappy, but I feel like the words Flint, Robinson Court are too close together." And the university called a contractor, made them go down there and take it all off and respace the words. For them. So I thought that
Matt retired.
He did, but get it all started.
started,
And then, person I've been working with, but I thought that was above and beyond.
As is really.
did that extra expenditure to make that look
Where is that, is that the housing or the county basketball court?
the housing authorities.
Yeah, it's not the city, is it?
No, it's
No,
not.
no.
But, you know, in
It
reality.
really does look good. though.
We didn't end up having much money in that thing other than the historic marker that we, still need to put up. And I hope to try to raise some funds to put a couple new benches down there because the other ones are looking pretty weary. Just a quick update from our lobbyist who's been helping us with the building funds. The House and the Senate both have essentially budget working groups, and our proposal ultimately was for $10 million, and that has been submitted to both the House and the Senate working groups. I got an email today from State Representative Gordon Booth, who happens to be the sister-in-law to Mr. Booth, who is the high school principal in Carbondale, and so Daniel Booth. And so she's familiar with Carbondale, Murphysboro area because she comes down here to visit family. And so her staff emailed me today and asked me if I'd be able to come up and meet with her and talk more in depth about our request. So I think that's a very good indicator, and so I told them whenever you want me to come up tomorrow. We're talking to the right people, and hopefully we can get that accomplished. Now, this last thing I have on the agenda this evening is one of these things where I'll just tell you the whole story. Some time ago, probably 3 months ago, Logan Dagner, who lives in the Fiddler Ridge Road area, sent me an email or Facebook messaged me, I don't remember which, and he said, my water heater has essentially been damaged by the fact that the city water lines out here around Fiddler Ridge Road continue to break. And we have had a lot of breaks out there. And he says that it has somehow or the other caused a lot of sand, sediment, and water into his lines. And he had a water heater on in a house that he's been renovating that was 7 years old. And that other neighbors in the area have had the and the city should pay for. Well, I sort of told him, I only approved $250 on my own anyway, and I think that it would be sort of difficult case. And he has been just. He said, well, if it's the city council, I said you need to come to and talk to the council about it if you're unsatisfied. Response. And he asked me to put it on the council agenda. Obviously, he said he would come. But his water heater that he had to replace was $725, and he wants $725.
Maybe.
He claims they have had that problem, but I haven't heard from him.
It sounds like the way.
Mr.
One, and he says he has other residents out there. It's setting a precedent for one, and then the next person is going to say, well, they pay for him. And pretty soon we're going to have 6 or 10 hot water heater bills.
And I had to replace a water heater in 5, they don't last as long as they used to.
No, they don't.
Should they last longer than 7 years? Probably, but they don't.
They don't even manufacture them
that,
to last that long anymore. They do that on purpose.
Don?
Tim, is there any validity to his claim?
Yes and no. I mean, water heater can burn up, the elements can. But I don't think he's really presented to us what the issue of the water heater was. If it's full of sediment, generally you've got rods in the water heater if they're supposed to rust the rods before they rust the tank. And if it's sediment, it's common for a water heater is 7 to 50. National average on a gas water heater is like 7 years, and on electric is like 10.
Okay,
I would maybe say, bail us out, because you just put a brand new one in. If it goes out in the next year, then maybe we'll talk about it. But 7-year water heater,
That's not.
we average 5 breaks in a year.
My question is, though, it is the water problems that we've had on Fiddler Ridge.
As far as sediment, I wouldn't think, no.
Okay.
Lack of water, where if your water heater drains out, your home is.
Right, yeah, right, okay. You answered my question. Okay.
And we don't put anything, when your line breaks, the pressure flows out, so we can't get anything in.
All right, well, I'm not hearing any interest in responding to that request, and so I will communicate that. We'll go to council member requests, and I'll go to Ms. Hughes.
I don't think I have anything, thank you. Oh, although I would like to remind everybody, if it doesn't rain tomorrow, right? Sandra has put together this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday afternoon, or Wednesday 12 to 1, schedule for concerts for a cause for, this is for Relay for Life every Wednesday. Tomorrow, the Murphysboro High School band, some of the nippers will be there. What are you having? Barbecue, slaw, and chips tomorrow. Anyway.
Awesome.
Need to do this, guys. Thanks, Sandra.
All right, Ms. Curry-Witzman?
I don't have anything, thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Austin?
Mayor, I asked you about this earlier in the week, and I'm going to informational piece to everybody. I'm going to work with the Chamber of Commerce in doing a fundraiser. We're going to do it in November, and we're going to play golf at night. We're going to do a glow golf outing, and I would just, we're doing it in November because that way it gets dark at 5:30. I don't like staying up until 8 and 9 o'clock to start something, but I would like to see the city support that and have some financial support for Chamber of Commerce when that comes around, but I just want to make it aware.
All right, I'm sure we can do something there.
Yep.
Ms. Jackson?
Nothing, thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Clerk Huntziker? Mr. Urbis?
Party by their building, 11 to 3. It's a fundraiser for START. I'm on the board, and if anybody wants to buy tickets, you can come see me. All the proceeds go to
And what time?
11 to 3.
11 to 3.
North 13th.
All right.
I think we closed it off.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, we did.
we voted to close that up.
I'll probably even be able to make that. That'll be during nap time. Cole?
So then, who's gonna give Darren direction on when to order this? You know, I mean, when he tells them we're gonna buy it, they'll have it up here in 2 or 3 days. But, you know, we're gonna have to tell them that we're financing and stuff.
Well, I mean, WJ as finance chair, do you want to get together with Scott and Sandra and try to figure that out?
Yeah, so it'll have to be board approved before we can sign any documents, which would be last week of the month would be the first time that we could get it, next time we get it from the board, so that's, I mean, but it's pretty quick turnaround after that. We could have stuff in a check the next day, so. That would be.
The only thing I asked when you guys get it settled, get over to Darren so he can get that.
We have to the 22nd to let them know that we're gonna.
Right, so I think the next time we could get it in front of the board would be the 28th, you know, and even that app, you know, we could have check ready by lunch on the 28th, you know, if that's the case.
Well, go ahead.
Can he tell them that we want it?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think that's what we have, that's what.
He's kind of held a machine for us, hasn't he, done a little bit?
They actually do have one there. I think some of the equipment they were gonna have to get in. But I would just like to tell them, yeah, we're gonna buy it that way. Their pricing doesn't change because he told me that the pricing did change.
Well, yeah, make that call tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Strack.
Yes, I'd like to thank Mr. Gladson and his crew at the wastewater treatment plant for maintaining our trap fields for us again this season. They always do a great job keeping everything everything trimmed up nice. We get a lot of compliments on it, and it all goes correct to them. So thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Scott. Don?
I'd like to mention, a couple of Fridays ago, the school district held a disaster drill out at the high school. I went.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
The best thing I can say about it is I have a comfort zone now. Watching our police force and fire force and the county ambulance service, and had a helicopter fly in. It was, I understand, Chief said, they have found some shortcomings that they had, it was a drill. There was 2 wrecked cars. There were 5 dead people. There was a school bus involved. There was other problems out on the field, and it was. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I have a comfort zone after watching go about doing this work. Oh, and the disaster people were there. And yes, Barbara.
When you get done, I need something else.
But I just wanted to mention that, and just I have a lot of confidence. The high school principal was basically in charge of the whole thing, and he's had good instruction all his life. In case you don't know, the high school principal is Chief Elmar's son.
He might have been the only one that didn't know that.
It's a good experience, and if they do it again, I suggest that you can go as an observer and watch. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you, Don. Barb?
One thing, we fed the ladies soccer team the week after the last meeting. You weren't here, Mayor, and neither was I, but we pulled that together, and I think they really enjoyed it. They have a regional tonight?
Tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow, excuse me.
It would have been tonight, but the rain.
The rain, okay, so, keep them in your thoughts anyway, but thank you for everybody that, and I appreciate that. It pulled together really nice, and I think the ladies really enjoyed it. But thank you for even asking us, and thank you, council, for approving that.
Thank you, Barb. I'll go to department head.
I do not have anything.
Ms. Ripley?
I do. I want to, on the back side of the concert flyer, I put the luminaria ceremony that's scheduled for this Thursday at Murphysboro. Just want to invite everybody out. And if anybody wanted to buy a luminaria, I do have here.
Thank you, Sandra. Mr. Evans?
At the last meeting, I mentioned that the auditors were here, and they are already gone. So they were here a very short time. They're prepping the reports, and hopefully, next meeting or the following meeting, they'll probably be presenting their audit. I don't think there's any fluid issues that we have to worry about, so it went very.
I heard they left early because they had to contact the FBI.
Yeah. Well, then I won't be here the next meeting.
I had a phone conversation with Amber from Kerber Echo the other day, and she pretty much said it was pretty smooth, no findings other than what we've seen in the past.
And the good news is we're doing some cross-training up there, so that, some of that they tell us every
Findings,
year
yeah.
is maybe helped.
Anyway, yeah, very thankful that the audit went smooth as it almost always does, and appreciate all the hard work. Is that all, Scott?
Yes.
Okay. Chief?
Last Wednesday night, as everybody's aware, we had some storms come through, resulted in several limbs down. I want to give a shout out to Darren and his crew. They are always quick to respond. We had several down on Division Street, down through Peanut Hill, down to 26th Street, that we couldn't even get down there to answer a call at first, and they were quick to get down there and get that cleared. That call actually took out all the power to the water treatment plant, and they were out of power for a couple of days, I guess. But, they got it cleared for us, so we could go down there and make sure that, nobody was injured or, no fire hazard or anything like that. So just a shout out to them.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Bellmeyer?
Nothing, thank you.
Brian?
Nothing, thank you.
Sheffer?
I have nothing. Thank you.
Ms. Bolly?
Nothing.
Mr. Lee?
With what Alderman Hughes said, Feed the Team was it was a big success. The aldermen that were there, the kids really did enjoy it. The parents asked me to pass along to the city council that they also appreciated it because we get very few donations. The ladies soccer team, most of the time the parents band together and donate a meal in the city that we're visiting. There are a few donations that we get, but at the same time, you guys, it was appreciated.
Thank you. Mr. Iser?
Tim, on the nail on the head there, thank you guys for that. Also with that, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is the Southern Illinois Middle School Soccer Championship down at MSI. There'll be 1,200 to 1,500 people here, 18 teams. Last year, the boys and girls, I coached the junior high girls. We won, boys team won as well last year. And then out at MBI, I believe they're having a tournament out there as well. I think they had like 42 signed up. I think that's the number. Wow, that's a lot. There'll be quite a bit of stuff going on between that end of town and that end of town. So a bunch of people in town, food and
Hopefully that hotel's full.
I would say it will be.
Get your lemonade stands out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, give them all a paintbrush for fire hydrant. All right, Pat? Okay, Darren?
Support for this kid, though, it's going to be really useful, so thank you.
Fantastic. Adjourn.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't get a call from him, he said that.
Okay.
And I said, anyway. Oh. She called me. Yeah, you got two on driving. Sorry, you were driving. I know. Yeah, that's right. Kick back and didn't do anything.
Yeah, Andrew went out somewhere around the lake, I think Friday night, and got some really good pictures. I went Sunday, just driving around kind of last minute. Didn't see anything, but Julie talked to the young lady, and she said it was that.
I know they go
come out for
okay, yeah, they're not.